Welcome to Hardline. This is Phil, and we're going to be talking about hypocrisy today. Specifically, the hypocrisy of a very rich person named Vicky Osterweil, who's written a book, which, by the way, you can purchase it for $21 on Amazon or $28 at Barnes & Noble. It's a book on the virtues of looting, because looting is apparently a good thing. I got a quote right here. Looting rejects the legitimacy of ownership rights and property, the moral injunction to work for a living, and the justice of law and order. Ownership of things, not just people, is, quote, innately, structurally white supremacist. Okay, that's kind of ironic considering the fact that if you open the book up to the title page, it warns you against doing any illegal copying because she wants to keep her copyright. What's a copyright? You mean the right of the property of your intellectual property of your book? That's kind of funny. Osterweil, by the way, is also written for such prestigious publications as Paris Review, which pay like upwards of $1 per word, about $1,000 or more for an article. One of those yuppie, white, champagne socialist, limousine liberals, the kind of person who goes to those fancy parties in New York and gets profiles written about them in the New York Times, you know, daddy's rich kind of person. It always strikes me as odd, if you want to fight the power and you're so rich, just like Carlos Maza, why don't you start with the millionaire that you come from? Why don't you reject the millionaires who raised you first? Oh, that's right, because you don't want to lose your trust fund. Anyways, Osterweil has the gall to chalk up a shooting that occurred during the LA riots. A Korean woman, an immigrant, had a shop. She was defending her life and her shop and her livelihood. And this too, however, is chalked up as, quote, white supremacist violence. And in fact, it's okay to burn and loot and steal from Jews and Koreans, according to Osterweil, because Jews and Koreans are, and I'm quoting here again, the face of capital. Now, if an alt-right person said that on Twitter, they'd probably get banned. But no, this is a millionaire's daughter. This is the daughter of Vicky Osterweil, is a millionaire's daughter. So since she's a rich leftist, nothing bad's going to happen about this. However, to be fair, even the middle-of-the-road liberal publications like Newsweek and The Atlantic have come out exposing what a disgusting and despicable and not even very well thought out hot take Osterweil has offered here. As for who deserves violence, well, you know, it'd probably be a shorter list to come up with who doesn't deserve violence. Another quote here, liberal commentators, yes, the liberal commentators, not just the alt-right, but Brian Stetler, watch out, Osterweiler's after you. Liberal commenters, de-escalators, non-profiteers, right-wing trolls, vigilantes, and of course, the police. So that's who she says we should loot and riot and attack with violence. And that's probably why we're having so many of these fiery, but mostly peaceful protests, because this is actually being set up, like this is going to be a bestseller. I almost guarantee it. People are going to hate read it, but they'll read it. And this is what we're coming to, and this is why the cold civil war that we've been that's been amping up for the past 5 years has just recently gone hot. And I'm going to leave you guys with that and just say, you know, God bless America. Please don't have a civil war. Thank you.
And welcome to Hardline, folks. Burdock here. Wow. We just got off a great show, The Story Behind the Story. You can find that on revolution.radio. And I guess it's got to be hypocrisy. That's what we're talking about this week, and it's just insane. People elevating Biden, people saying that, oh, look, my tax returns are 100% when they're certainly using their son to wash so much money. But we can't miss the elephant in the room, and of course, it's Nancy Pelosi. Now, Nancy Pelosi has been a real fave of mine since I lived in San Francisco. She's a terrible, terrible person. She comes from a pretty wicked family. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Look up the history, the lineage of the Pelosis. Where did this thing, who is in so much power, where did she come from? What were her parents teaching her? Just like we should ask all the Antifa people while they're playing dress up in the streets, what their parents were doing, missing that critical point, saying don't do that. What were Pelosi's parents encouraging her to do? And it's just like this. She is so incredibly selfish that it goes to show you, it proves the point with this hairdressing fiasco in San Francisco. Being able to go in, and she really does believe that she is beyond, she is not human. She is a supernatural goddess, according to her. And I have seen this firsthand, folks. I have seen it. She has cut, I've been the individual that she's cut in line, directly in line in front of. And I don't know about you, but I really hate people that do that. That in and of itself shows so much about a character. People who don't tip their waiters, people who are rude to their waiters. And take a look at what happened here. The law doesn't apply to her. So she gets a contractor to open up, she convinces this guy to open up a salon that he had sole access to, and the guy made a decision, and whether it was right or wrong, but you're talking to somebody who's in control of the whole city. So if she says it's right, you're not going to get prosecuted, right? You don't think that that has anything to do, I mean, don't they teach us those things when people are getting prosecuted for sexual assault? Did you have the power over that person, all of this? So I wouldn't necessarily blame the hairdresser. He was probably a little starstruck, and you know, it's Pelosi. It's like a cop giving you an order. What she did to this owner, the owner of the hair e-salon in San Francisco, is insane. And it illustrates her character, and I am so glad you've got female hairdressers out there putting hair dryers in front of her house. Normally, I don't approve of that type of thing, but that was funny and added to and equal and loving of the whole concept that, listen, even in San Francisco, enough is enough. Even, I guarantee you, all those people were probably Democrats. It's hard to find anyone that, who knows? You have to be closeted there. But my point here, folks, is it is a wonderful day because she asked the owner of the salon for an apology and that it was a setup. And that is clearly false. The owner clearly talked to an attorney. I hope Pelosi gets sued for libel. And we've got great news to report. 36 hours after all of this went down, the GoFundMe, and it's probably a little bit more now, the GoFundMe for the lady who owns E-Salon, she's going to have to move. Her salon was threatened. Her house was threatened. And the GoFundMe hit $200,000, which, good on you. And nobody's asked, are you Republican or Democrat? She's certainly anti-Pelosi, as most of us should be. So, Godspeed to you, Nancy Pelosi. This is bigger than you thought, and your reaction to it may very well have sunk any sort of support in San Francisco, especially people who own businesses. This has been the Goldwater. Godspeed to you all, folks, and God bless the United States.